Transformers Prime episode reviews now continue with Darkness Rising Part 2. This is another establishment episode, though we do get a little bit more meat to the story and we see the repercussions from episode 1. And the lovely thing about 5-parters is they tend to follow up each other's stories. So, Megatron is back. We find out he's been gone for a few years on a space exploration mission, looking for something. It's not really clear what, but what he comes back with is something interesting, as well as something that leads to a lot of continuity problems if we take the aligned continuity into account. He has Dark Energon. So, in the High Moon games, the ones that are supposed to be connected to this one, like telling the events of what happened on Cybertron before everyone came to Earth, Dark Energon was part of the plot there, except it was a different thing than it is here in this show. And they talk of it as if they had, in this series, as if they had never discovered the stuff in any way, shape, or form. So, unfortunately, what we have here is a Hydra whose heads do not talk to each other while they put this cockamamie collection of stories together. That's lovely. I have to do a whole video someday just about how messed up this entire continuity thing is with Aligned. It is that messed up. And the reason I haven't done it yet is because it's so complicated. I really don't want to do it. But we will at some point. For now, we'll just assume that Prime is its own story and its own continuity, completely separate from the novels that contradict it and the video games that contradict it. And we're just going to judge it on its own merits. So, we have Dark Energon, the fossilized blood of Unicron, which apparently has certain effects on dead Transformers. And conveniently, Starscream actually has a dead Transformer ready to go. He's even gotten it secured down onto a bed and everything, as if he knows what's coming, even though he had no way of knowing. Convenient. Ah well, it gets us set up, and it's a nice way to starting the episode off. The other establishment in this one is Agent Fowler. We actually get a human government contact for the Autobots. He's mostly there trying to keep the Autobots in check, but he's not happy that Decepticons have been sighted again. Or at least he presumes Decepticons have been sighted again. Yeah, he is a very stern government type. Now, give it a while. He comes around, but for now, he is going to feel very Sector 7. They don't say Sector 7. It's a whole other thing in this continuity. We'll talk about them when we get there. Don't worry. But for now, yeah, that's Fowler. So, we get a few explanations here. For starters, we find out what a ground bridge is, which is, Ratchet explaining it's like a space bridge, but on the ground. More context, please. These kids don't know what a space bridge is either. Suffice to say, it is essentially using space bridge technology to port you from one part of the planet onto the next, but it doesn't have enough power to actually get them home. So yeah, they're stuck on planet Earth. So that establishes why the Autobots are here. Well, it establishes why they're still here, more or less. Now, it's gonna provide a few things. One's convenience, but it's also gonna provide some tense moments from time to time. We'll see that pretty quickly. Wait for it. So we have a mission. There is a chance when they stab Cliffjumper with the Dark Energon, his spark comes online just for a moment, so they decide to try a rescue mission just to see if Cliffjumper really is still alive. Here's the thing. To this point, we had never seen a real zombie Transformer before. I mean, there's Dark Awakening in G1, but that's not quite the same. This is a very traditional, like, mad, snarling, mindless zombie type. And it's really creepy. Like, really creepy to see a Transformer go through that. And they make it as horrifying as they possibly can visually. So I mean, it shakes you up a little bit. It does. I mean, if you well, shakes you up as in like it's really weird to see. Obviously, we're not scary here in this episode. Oh no, 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 no. That comes later in this series when they start getting into the real horror elements. But no, for now, it's just a sample of what Megatron is capable of now, and it's kind of terrifying. You know, they've never had a Megatron wanting to command the undead before. The fight to get Cliffjumper back is interesting because Prime has absolutely no chill to his plan. They are in an Energon mine. They charge the Viacons who are mining Energon right there, and there's no real strategy to it. There's no real anything. It is just like rush straight in, guns a-blazing. It's pretty much what they do. When RC does spot Cliffjumper, she does make a play for him and shows off a lot of her acrobatic abilities. You know, what she lacks in firepower and brute force, she does get to show off a lot of her agility in this episode, which is a nice little nod to give her. So, all good there. RC gets a little bit of a time to shine and then becomes traumatized. Remember, Cliffjumper was her partner. They were very close. And you're going to find out things about RC's past where, she really doesn't like losing partners. And seeing Cliffjumper in that state shakes her very badly. When they get back to base, she feels faint, which takes the humans by surprise. Keep in mind, to the humans, they're just robots still. So now that they actually see just how emotional they can become, sad over the loss of a comrade, becoming faint at the realization of it, it's very humanizing for the Transformer characters. And it's a really good thing to establish here. It's a nice moment. I mean, it's a terrible moment for the characters, but it's a nice moment story-wise. We also get the humans getting paired off with their subsequent Autobots. Bulkhead, everyone has to take one of their humans home, with RC having to go with Jack. And it's something about Jack's talk with his mom right there. It's something about that talk that kind of shows RC, that kind of awakens RC up a little bit, or at least softens her. She starts to get, she's still there in the morning. Like, she didn't leave the garage all morning, so that's interesting. But she's also concerned about Jack, and even concerned about Jack's mom worrying about him after they leave, which is kind of fun. It definitely shows a more nurturing side of RC in this one, and it shows the forming bonds between her and Jack. So, I mean, they're going to have a really good relationship. Not the kind of relationship that Tumblr wants you to believe, but a relationship nonetheless. And Jack's mom, for now, she seems like she's a completely fine character, very standard mother, very concerned about her son riding a motorcycle. But, good mom, right? Oh, by the way, in order to hide what they're doing with Dark Energon, Megatron was willing to blow up the entire mine. That's a thing. So we have a very ruthless Megatron in this series. This is really the first thing that indicates that, because not only is he willing to lose all of that Energon, but he's also willing to sacrifice all the Viacons inside the mine still. That's a pretty intense Megatron. Maybe not as calculating as Beast Wars, but certainly more malicious. And it's the same Megatron that is willing to take a shard of Dark Energon and jam it into himself. And we have to wait till next episode to see what it was. For now, we do have one thing to account for here, and that is we have our first counter that we have to change. Bulkhead managed to smash a repair equipment for Ratchet, which means we got our first I needed that. Said equipment gets a little bit of the residual Dark Energon that was clinging onto RC onto it, reactivating it into what is essentially a scalpel. A little scary bug that's going to be a little bit menacing next episode. And again, show you that, hey, Dark Energon is kind of messed up. So yeah, another establishment episode that carries on the plot. We get to find out a lot more stuff. And yeah, we start to build some relationships between all these characters. It's a solid episode. Once again, enjoyable rating. And yeah, I'm going to suspect that that's pretty much going to be the average for this, at least this 5-parter. So there you go. Darkness Rising Part 2. Another really good episode. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, we'll go over Part 3.
I'm like, I think you guys got this. I will back away, and I will see you all later.
You've got this handled.
Alafi's like, really? You're not gonna help me? Like, it's fine now.
It's like these disgusting creatures breathing down my neck, and you're all just like, I believe in you. You got this. That
All right,
burn.
you seem to have this. 5 minutes.